Hey Melanie,
What's up? What's
what's
up?
going, what's going on?
Man, working hard, hardly working, finding a balance.
I'm glad you said that. One of the first things I wanted to talk about was the nonstop film grind.
Yeah.
I
I'm
see a lot of
I'm always working on something.
I see a lot of times I see your page and it's just like editing, shooting somewhere, and I just want you to share a little bit what a typical day is for you while working on this project and other things.
I mean, fortunately, I've created my lifestyle and this life has afforded me the opportunity to really create my own schedules.
Okay.
So, I work whenever I feel motivated first and foremost. You can't really force creativity.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's also really the team that I keep around me that keep me going too. So
Okay.
it's obviously, if if we have an interview that we have time and we have an interview that we need to schedule, like let's get it done. Let's figure out what we need to do to make it happen. So, I'm a night owl for sure, so I stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
sleep until it's lunchtime, wake up, and
Yeah.
get my day started.
No, that's great because I really do like when I'm checking out the Can't Retire Doc or the page and your page, it's just like it's amazing to see like you say you have your team and y'all so dedicated, grinding it out at the table together. Like that's hard to find working in media, especially like small starting up. It's just
Right.
like that's tough to find. Um,
Definitely. Definitely.
can you talk a little bit about the Can't Retire Doc? Like tell me what inspired you, how this came about.
Yeah. Well, how it was initiated is from May 15th when In the Water premiered,
Hmm.
and I was at home and watching it with my family, and as a basketball player, as a female basketball player growing up here in the DMV and not seeing representation of myself on screen when I know I've played against and with so many incredible ball players that are women and that are
Yeah,
doing it big overseas in the WNBA, their coaches, their, you know, training, everybody. And the fact that only Marissa Coleman was really shown in the film, and only a little bit of her. The amount of talent that's here in the DMV, there within that hour is not enough time to really go deep into the depth of how important it is for boys and girls alike.
hmm,
So I took it upon myself and everything that I have accomplished so far, everywhere that I've been, might as well use that, come back home, and really dig into the roots of girls basketball here and how important it is. And
yeah,
even with the WNBA, how much hatred it always gets for whatever reason. And
no reason at
I,
all.
right, I know how important basketball has been for me and everything that I've accomplished in my life. Like, I need to give back.
Hmm.
And that's how Can't Retire Doc was really initiated. So once I watched In the Water the day it premiered, I made a Facebook post and went straight to Facebook, and I was like, "When are we gonna do the girls' version of In the Water?" And literally within minutes, a couple of my friends commented, like old teammates, old coaches, like, "This is a great idea. I would love to be a part. Hit me up. Let's do it." I was like,
Yeah,
okay, let's set up a Zoom call. Let's make this happen. Like, I'm home, we're in a pandemic. We all have time, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it came together, and 2 weeks later, we were doing our first interview.
Man, that's tough. That's tough. Like for you to watch in the water, become inspired, and actually start doing it and getting it done. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Um, and you kind of touched on this, but can you go a little bit further? How important is that people see this documentary, that the world sees this?
yeah. I mean, just as a black woman, I call myself a triple minority. I'm a African American female. I'm a
Hmm.
woman, and I'm young. Three things that people often overlook, overshadow,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I have to work 3 times as hard to get the success that's warranted for me.
yeah.
Um, so going in depth about why girls basketball is so important to me. Like, my mom was my coach Growing up, I played at Laurel Boys and Girls Club,
Okay.
and just being coached by my mom and seeing the impact that she has had on so many young women around here, and they always come back and want to coach with her. Like they
Mhm.
come back to the gym, and I come back and I help coach too because I normally live in LA.
Mhm.
So I'm here, and I just love to give back to them, and just seeing how important it is for them to be, inspired, motivated, and seeing that even basketball doesn't have to be the end all, be all, but
Right. Right.
the lessons that you learn from playing the sport, it you carry that with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I haven't played basketball since, like, seriously, since high school. So in the past 10 years, the work ethic that's embodied in me from playing basketball, the relationships that I've created through basketball, like it's all a part of me, and that's like why you can't retire from this. It's in your blood,
Yeah.
it's in your
Yeah.
psyche, it's in the back of your mind all the time.
So pandemic started, you put the Facebook post out. What was the process like? You like, okay, now I need to start a team of people because this is a lot. Like I know it's a lot.
Right.
So what was that process like saying I need to find people who believe in this vision?
Right. And it's still a lot, Things are
Yeah.
changing every single day with us, but we're making it through. But in terms of finding a team, it was very fortunate. Like the individuals that commented on the Facebook page, like in the Facebook post,
Hmm.
um, Ryan, who's Free Alexander, follow
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He is a filmmaker, well-known videographer around
Mhm.
here, and he's been friends with my older brothers for years, but I never really had like any type of friendship camaraderie with him. But I was always aware of the talent that he possesses, and just
Yeah.
watching his stuff, and as he's progressed over the years, he actually commented on the Facebook post, and I was like, all right, let's, like, you're dope, I'm dope, like, I know
Let's do it.
visually you'll be fine with you making, like, I'm gonna make you my DP,
Hmm.
director of photography, for those that don't know. And just seeing his work ethic, I know that he can go far. Um,
Yeah.
and then I
Right.
reached out to one of my friends, Shannon. Shannon went to North Carolina A&T with me, and she's
Mhm.
actually a agent, a WNBA and FIBA agent, and
Okay.
she's
Okay.
young black female just like me, and we have so many similarities, and she's well ingrained into just the business side of basketball. So I brought her on board to produce with me, um, and just some other wonderful individuals that I used to play basketball with, and
Yeah.
they've been helping out whenever they can, depending, because people's schedules have just been changing,
Right.
as we're going to these different phases. So
Yeah.
we have a core team, and then whoever we can keep around, and it's really about communication.
Hmm.
That's really what keeps things running, as smoothly as they can be. But we we're solid right now, and just getting things edited as we can. It's
Yeah.
going to be a long process, but it'll be worth it.
No, it's definitely gonna be a long process, but again, like I love like checking out the social media and just seeing the progression along the way because I feel like people want to see this type of content, but it takes a lot to go and to really do this thing. So it's just great
Right.
that that y'all are doing this. Like it's amazing.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
no, of course, of course. We talked about the logistics already. What about behind the scenes so far? Have there been like any surprises, like an interview came out of nowhere that you weren't expecting? Somebody reached out?
Um, So the thing is, and I was just talking about this with Ryan earlier today,
Mhm.
because we were editing this afternoon, and he asked me, like, has anybody, like, the people that we've interviewed, have they reached out to us, or are we reaching out to them primarily? And honestly, like, from the beginning, like, I wrote out a very long list of names of people that you know, whose stories haven't been told, or that are doing things within the basketball community that would make, some great content.
Yeah.
And figuring out, because we can't interview 300 people.
Right, right.
Kind of having to chisel down this list and make it as directional as possible. But like nobody, we have had people reach out, but
Okay.
then I had to really make a particular criteria for people that we interview. It has to be, you play basketball in college, you play basketball overseas in the WNBA, you're coaching, or within the media scope of women's basketball, adding to the visibility of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and people that literally are in careers because of the sport of basketball. The women's
Yeah.
basketball and girls basketball, and their foundation is in the DMV. That's the criteria for the people we interview. So we have people that have reached out to us like, hey, I have a great story. Like, you should talk to me. Get me on camera. It's my time. 15 minutes of fame. Let's get it. I'm like, I'll add you
No.
to the list. Not going to guarantee we'll get there, but thank you for reaching out. Thank you for wanting to be involved. But
Right.
I don't have the capacity to get everybody in
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I'm sure people have flooded your inbox asking that same exact thing.
here. Yeah. And for the first couple of months, I wasn't running the social media page at all. Like
Okay.
I know I couldn't handle all of that and be focused on this. But
Okay.
now people can directly like contact me. But having my peoples and my teammates in this documentary crew really having my back on that has been important for maintaining clarity in the story.
Okay. Oh my bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's
The
all good.
behind the scenes. I'll just ask that. So, what has been your favorite part of this so far? I'm sorry, I lost focus for a second.
No, it's all good. We can go whatever direction you want to go in. My favorite part behind the scenes, um, man, honestly, I like being out in the whole Hollywood, LA sphere. I'm around a lot of older white people, just to put it out there. And so this is really like my first opportunity to work with people my own age and within like the same foundation as me too. And just getting to reconnect with my community. I've been gone for a really long time. I've been gone for like 10 years in a sense. Like I haven't been home for this many months straight
Okay. Okay.
since in 10 years since high school. So the fact that I'm able to reconnect with people that I haven't talked to or honestly even thought about, and just rekindle those friendships and really catch up and really get into the depths of their story and what made them who they are and what was really happening at the time when they were in high school or elementary school or whatever they were going through at the time, and figuring out like we were friends, but I never really knew who they were until now when people are like finally getting to open up. And
Yeah.
that's been really great to see. And just capturing those stories, and then also just getting B-roll, people dribbling in the courts. We had Taylor Brown and Marcus Thornton play one-on-one
Yeah.
the other
That was
day.
cool. That was cool that y'all got that together.
That was one of my favorite moments so far.
That was cool. Did you get a lot of people to? You were sharing. I shared the post too. Did a lot of people respond to that, saying that
I
they wanted
did
to be in it? Okay.
I did, but there was also people that I reached out to that reached out, and they were like, "Oh, you mean this week? I'm not here this week." I'm like, but we're gonna have several more of those sessions.
Okay.
I'm trying to get as many people, as many faces in this as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Let's talk a bit about your basketball journey. What was it like playing basketball growing up for you?
Yeah, I I like to tell people I played for 18 teams growing up, all over the place, all over the place. But I grew up mostly played at Larwood in the Girls Club. My mom had the key to the gym, so
Oh,
me and my older brothers, some of my closest friends from childhood, like we would be in Larwood and Girls Club all the time. all the time.
I
So
would
I
too.
was
My
just
mom
working.
had the keys.
My mom had the key. So it's
Yeah.
like you never knew how privileged you were when your mother has the keys to the gym, you know? Like
Yeah.
we should have been crazy good at basketball if we'd known. But it's all good. But it was great. It was great. And then just starting with county ball, and then also just watching my older brothers play because I had two older
Okay.
brothers, and just kind of following in their footsteps and wanting to not be deemed the little sister all the time, and just trying to live up to everybody's expectations. My mom played college ball at American University, so it was
Oh,
like trying to live up to
yeah.
everybody. It's
Yeah.
kind of looking back at like all the pressure that must have been on me, but it made me who I am, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, but then, jumping from AAU team to AAU team after that, eventually I got to high school, played at Elizabeth Seton High School, won a championship in 2010. Thank you. Yes, there we go. And but I had a career-ending concussion situation that was really detrimental going into my senior year. And you're in one of those showcase tournaments, and all these college coaches, they're here to see you play, or walking by the gym or just around, and you want to show off. You don't want to sit out. Man, I was going up for a rebound, came down, hit a girl's shoulder, and hit the ground. And after, like, kind of, I was definitely out of it, but you have to act like you're okay.
Hmm.
And I did that so that I could go back into the game. And I
Yeah.
wanted my team to win. There were coaches here to see me play. I needed to get a scholarship. And I went back into the game, and I really don't remember anything from what happened after I went in the game. Um,
Wow.
but I just know now, with all the advanced concussion research that has really advanced in the past couple of years, I did everything wrong for my recovery. And I had headaches, sensitivity to light and noise for years after that.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, after once senior year ended, I had to make a decision. It's either like my health, or this is, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And I mean, I'm glad you segued in the injuries. I wanted to ask about that. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I was in a car accident last year and I had a concussion. And it was like the first time I had experience with a concussion. And like growing up, you see a lot of people, they sit out due to injuries and it's concussion. And
Mm-hmm.
in the kid's mind, like, oh, their head just hurt. They can get back in the
Right,
game. But it was like,
right.
no, everything you just said, the sensitivity, the light, everything is like, that's a big thing. And I feel like there needs to be more focus on that. I mean, there is now, but I
Mm-hmm.
still feel like a lot of athletes just say, well, I'm good. But
Right.
those those things linger for a while.
Yes, yes, and it is not worth it to have headaches, like constantly not able to focus. Like even my grades were slipping really badly, like yeah, and nobody could figure out why. But it's not good for anybody, especially a teenager.
Yeah, yeah. The brain's still developing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So was that after that? You continue playing. Did you ever have any more concussions after that?
Um, I'm sure I did. Head injury. I used to go hard, so
Okay. Okay.
I'm sure like that big concussion, it wasn't my first, but it was like my first one actually going to a doctor
Okay.
to
Okay.
get diagnosed. And even by the time I didn't go to the doctors right after that tournament either, I waited like a week and a half because I was still having headaches.
Yeah.
And this particular neurologist deemed it a mild concussion. Like if it's a mild concussion 2 weeks later, imagine how much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's bad, and I'm I'm glad you shared that because a lot of people they have mild concussions. Well, doctors say they're mild concussions, but it's just bad. And a long story short, it's just a bad experience.
And how can you even gauge that it's mild versus a
Exactly.
concussion? Like,
Yeah, it's
it's all
crazy.
bad. It's all bad.
It is. So, I love the part, you went on to school with the A&T, and
Hmm.
then you started getting involved in filmmaking immediately. Where did that passion start from?
Yeah, it actually, I growing up, I was always interested in photography,
Okay.
videography,
Okay.
but honestly, my concussion was a blessing in disguise to help propel me in that direction. Because when you have a concussion, you lose memory. And in order for me to retain and start to remember things, I had to take pictures, I had to take
Mm.
video, and I had to write. And eventually, actually writing down thoughts and taking pictures, like becoming creative out of that, and
Yeah.
turning that into capturing emotion and wanting to tell a story, wanting to capture a story, wanting to express myself through that medium has propelled me to start my own production company freshman year of college. Um, and really, as I was learning to heal from my basketball career ending and having to make a smooth transition into something else, but with the same work ethic and, the same life skills that we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
really helped me heal from my head injury.
Okay. Okay. That, like, you even said that capture emotions through the camera help heal your passion. Like when I read that, I was like, no, that's a good one. So hearing you explain how you put everything together and hopped into this lane is amazing. Um, what was it like working with ESPN and SEC? Like, I know you learned a lot. Like, that's a valuable experience to have. What was that experience like?
Yeah, man, that was the best thing I could have ever done straight out of college. It was, ooh, and honestly, like that I got pulled into that world, because throughout college I was shooting music videos, I was doing web series, I did a short film, and a whole bunch of other things within my umbrella of my production company, Major Motives.
Mhm.
And when I was shooting and filming, I would be sending out my completed pieces to my middle school basketball coach, who was one of my biggest inspirations, one of my mentors.
Okay.
And unbeknownst to me, her first cousin just happened to be a director for ESPN Films.
That's a great
So,
mentor to have right there.
right. So she would be sending my videos and stuff to him. Um,
That's tough. That's tough.
so a couple of weeks before my graduation, senior year, he reached out to me with his phone number. He said, "Hey, call me. I have an opportunity for you." And I reached out to him, and he just happened to be preparing to shoot a film for Howard University, an ESPN film called Redemption Song.
Okay.
And he wanted me to come up to DC and be a production assistant for him, paid and everything. I was just going to miss my last week of college. So I was like, do I go to class or do I start a career?
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, I chose to go work for ESPN.
You're right. I would too. I know a lot of people would.
Right.
That's easy.
So just the alignment of all that was so perfect. I'm so grateful for that opportunity, and I was able to work on Redemption Song, and that his name is Kenan Holly, but then his producing partner, his name is Mark Wright, and both of them together really took me under their wing and really helped propel me to really, really learn the behind the scenes. I was shooting behind the scenes photography while also, checking in interview guests, while also making, lunch orders, like literally all at the same time. They just threw me into the fire and said, if you can handle it, you're on the team. So I did everything I could. And it was great. So I ended up working on Redemption Song, which you can find is actually on the Undefeated's website. It was the inaugural film
Okay.
released for the Undefeated, and it's about Howard
Ah,
University
that's
soccer
big.
team. Yeah, yeah. And I was actually able to work my way up to be an associate producer on that film
Okay.
straight out of college. So that was very big accolade for me off the
Hmm.
jump. And then we did another film called The Walk Off. That's for SEC Story, and that was about that's a film, a baseball story for LSU baseball.
Okay.
Um, and then we did another film for Texas A&M that unfortunately was never released. That one was probably one of my favorites. It's called The 12th Man, about
Okay.
Texas A&M's football team. And
Okay.
then we did a couple other projects. We did a project for the African American Museum, and a partnership with AT&T when the African American Museum was opening. So that was pretty
Mhm.
cool. And just being able
That
to be a
is.
part of like these grand experiences within my first 2 years out of college, and just producing and learn and like being a director's assistant right away was very valuable to who I am, and nobody else that I'm aware of has these opportunities, especially as a young Black woman.
Yeah. Yeah. And what has that been like, taking everything you learned from those experiences and now like applying it to your small media company? Like, how is it? Do you ever feel like, I remember this when I was working on this project?
Yeah, I do, and it's interesting because I'm as I'm leading my team and my crew to create this, they haven't really been on a film set before, so it's really having the opportunity to teach and allow the space to this be a learning opportunity for my peers.
Yeah.
Um, it also helps me, be reassured in my knowledge of things that I learned years ago. And I think that's really something valuable that I hold true to myself. Um, just spreading knowledge. It's something that,
Very
we
important.
Black people don't really get access to. And the fact that I have had access on multiple levels, the fact that I get to give back and also give back to the community of girls basketball at the same time, it
Hmm.
I couldn't ask for anything better. So I love just looking back and just seeing how far I've come, being working behind some great individuals, and now I get to lead my own team with that same knowledge.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned this earlier, on interviewing people who are, giving girls basketball a platform in different avenues through basketball. How important is it for you to share this knowledge? Like, hey, you don't have to be, it doesn't end when the basketball stops dribbling. Like, you can go into media, um, talking about being an agent. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
many people don't think about all these other avenues you can take to still be involved in the game.
Right, and that is one of the other important aspects of this film. It's really like, although your playing days may be over, well, they will be over eventually. But the
Yeah,
fact that you don't have to leave the game, the game's always going to be within you
yeah,
if you go hard enough. So
hmm,
the fact that yeah, we do have an agent, and like she can ball too. Like Shannon, her name's Shannon Michelle. Look her up. She could ball. Shannon's an agent. She also owns Maryland Jules, the WABA team around here.
okay,
Um,
okay,
and she's doing it big. She's definitely going to be one of the most sought after agents with her work ethic. Um,
okay.
and then the fact that
I have to
we
get her on
have,
it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, but agents, media people, um, coaches that have coached so many people around here, trainers,
Yeah,
scouts.
yeah,
Yeah, it's you could take basketball in so many different directions, and I want all girls to be able to know that like you may love this game, and you also can get hurt. Like there's also possibilities of it going wrong. We want you to have a backup, somewhere to go with it once your time is done.
right. And you'll still be just as involved as you were before.
Right. And just giving back and helping other people achieve their dreams will really take you further and give you, your legacy moment, your purpose in this.
Yeah, yeah. And this is something I didn't send you this in the talking points, but it's nothing off the wall or anything.
Uh-oh.
But I know I feel like this is something we kind of have like different paths. So I went to Frostburg for mass comm. I knew I wanted to be in media, but I didn't know what yet. So
Okay.
it was like I chose it, but I didn't really know yet. And for me, it was a thing where it was when it coming to graduation time, all I heard was go work for one of the news stations, go work for a newspaper, and I just
Hmm.
felt like I need some further direction. I just feel like I didn't get that. So what was it like for you? Like you were there, you had this opportunity, but you hopped into filmmaking your first year. Was it
Right.
because of the people you were surrounded by, or was it more something that you just wanted to do?
So when I went to North Carolina A&T, I feel like something that is common with me is I notice when there's a lack of something. Um, so when I started within my major at A&T, journalism, mass communications, they were really news heavy.
Okay.
And me and news, I don't like to make people sad. I want to make people happy.
And they love making people sad. The news loves
Yeah,
making people
news
sad.
news is so sad. Like I want to make people smile. I want to make people happy. I want to make people feel good. You don't get that out of news. But A&T really forces people to, go into that journalism route, to go into news, go into that whole information sector. So for me, I knew that, without basketball, I had to create my own purpose. And so I created my production company, Major Motives, and really wanted to entertain within my whole major. People wanted to do fun things,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody was really allowing them to create that space within the major. So I was like, um, let me make a web series. Let's do something fun so that so we're not sad all the time.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, my best friend Maya, she really pushed me to start writing because, within our major in college, you learn how to write really well and research. So I knew I could do that, and I knew I could write, and I knew I could make people smile. So I wanted to combine all three and create a web series. And we put out a Twitter post and had 30 people come and audition and really, really showed out. And by the time we released our first episode of my initial web series,
Hmm.
our major they were kind of jealous.
But that,
But I was like, we're young, we're doing it. You guys told us that we could do whatever we want to make our
right.
dreams come true. Like,
Right.
it's up to you to, really fuel into this. It's either you want
Yeah.
us to take it and go or leave us alone. So,
But
just by doing
they,
my own thing, they had to get on board.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like they were jealous, but it was just like you're changing for the better. Like it doesn't have to be all latest news, breaking news. Like we can entertain people at the same time without bringing up drama and sadness.
Exactly. And then eventually, my junior year, either junior year or senior year, the major reached out to me and they asked me to produce one of their like already foundational shows,
Okay.
for the TV station. And so I took it over and I made it entertaining, but it was news, so I made like a TMZ type of show.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and just started to really push the needle and see how far I could push it within their own scope
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
content.
Yeah. And I think like for young black females and males is like we have to know that we have the power to do the same type of things because I feel like a lot of times black males and females we get pushed as the talent as instead of the person behind the scenes making the decision, um creating what people want to see. We just get pushed as a talent so many times. So I just love it when I see people actually creating the content and taking control of everything.
Yeah, you gotta take control because if not you, then who?
Fact. 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 And the last question I had, you kind of answered this. I mean, you wanted to create your own films from the very beginning. Um,
Hmm.
where did that confidence come from?
Um, I don't even know if it was confidence. Honestly, I see my brother just commented down here saying sister. Being the youngest in the family, the only girl, taking pictures of my brothers all the time and taking videos of them and just seeing, like, honestly, I just wanted them to be happy with, the pictures I would take. Or like my first video I ever edited, put together, was of my brother Darius. And
Okay.
he sent me a bunch of like highlight. I was in 7th grade, and he and his friends were filming themselves dunking all the time, or like shooting, or like they were in college. So my brother gave me like 10, 15 different video clips, and I put
Mhm.
it in a sequence to Kanye West's song Stronger.
Okay.
And once I saw like my brother and all his friends' faces, like I'm making all these grown men smile and laugh and like feel good, like, and I'm just little old me, that kind of gave me the confidence that like I could do something. I just taught myself how to do that on Windows Media Maker in 7th grade. Like, I just wanted to make my brothers happy.
All right.
And,
All right.
they liked it, they enjoyed it, and their friends did too. And, Facebook at the time, like their friends, people saw it. And I was like, this is a really great feeling, and I want this feeling for the rest of my life.
Creating content does give you a great feeling. I think a lot of people don't do it. Gives you a great feeling.
Right.
Um, and I guess this will be actually be the last question. For someone going in the media, you say you're a triple minority, you're a young black female. What do you think? What's one piece of advice that you want to give somebody?
Hmm. One piece of advice. I'll say what my mentor told me. His name's David Talbert, which I haven't talked about him at all. But he has a film coming out on Netflix this
Okay.
December called Jingle Jangle, and it's going to be like the big Netflix holiday staple musical animation film. It's
Okay.
crazy. It's the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life. But you'll hear about it within the
Okay.
next couple weeks. I think the trailer's dropping. It's going to be
Okay.
great. But he has given me a lot of advice over the years. But the very first thing that really stuck with me, that I remember him telling me, is it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Meaning, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for anybody else to allow you, give you permission to do anything. Like, if you want to be creative, be creative. If you want to do this, do that. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Create.
That's
And
great advice.
that's how I am with this documentary. That's how I am with everything I do. I'm just gonna do it. Because what's the
Yes.
worst that could happen?
Yeah, exactly. And like, so this is like once you start asking people, like all those worries and fears that you created in your mind, they literally disappear. They never
Mm-hmm.
existed. So like, that's great advice to live by because it's really true.
Just do it. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. That's it.
Love it. Love it. Melanie, I thank you for joining us on here tonight, sharing some of your experiences and journey with us. I'm really am waiting for this documentary. Um, I really like. I watch because I know like having a small basketball media company, like it takes a lot to do these type of things. So I just
Yeah.
love seeing the process, a group of people working together for a common goal,
Yeah.
exposure to the girls DMV basketball because it's just as heavy as the boys. A lot of people, some people, they get lost in translation or something, but it's just as heavy. So every single
Yeah.
step,
Tired of
um,
being overlooked, man. It's time. It's time.
yeah, I'm tuned in every step. So I'm waiting again. I'm just waiting for it. And much success to y'all. The reason I
Appreciate
started
you.
this was to give. I try to say like you give people their flowers while they still here. And this is something like this deserves all the attention that it's going to get that it's getting now. So again,
Thank you.
best of
Yeah.
luck, much
You got me
success.
early too, so
I said, oh, Melanie, when you have your special on Netflix, I was like, oh, remember she was on Take with us? No one's doing like, no, we don't remember that. No one remembers that.
no,
Well,
it's coming. Much success to you too. We got a
appreciate
lot.
you.
We got a lot of stuff coming with Can't Retire.
Okay.
Like I said, we were editing some things earlier today, so we're going to start rolling out some social media content heavy
Okay.
within the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned. We got some really great stuff, and I don't wanna spoil anything, but just
Yeah, I know. I know. I was like, should I ask about it? So like, no. I can't spoil anything. But
it's all good. You gotta see, wait and see.
yeah, for sure. Again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody tuning in.
Yep.
And now you have time to get ready for the verses.
Yeah, right. Right.
Hey,
Let
when
me
you
go eat some.
when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, it can't happen.
Yeah, we gonna have competition. Brandy and Monica are coming on in 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotta get
All
this
right,
going. We would have had any of these viewers.
none at all, none. All right, Melanie, thank you for joining us again.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. You have a good one.
All right, you too.